All right, guys, bear with me one moment. I'm gonna troubleshoot some sound and whatnot, see if this is working on Facebook, and then we'll go live. All right, volume test, 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. All right, sounded good to me. So here we go. What's going on, guys? My name is Creighton Piper with CryptoAnswers.net. We are streaming across 4 platforms right now. So wherever you're watching from, welcome to the stream. This one is going to be short and sweet today. I have to run off to work here pretty soon, but I wanted to talk about a few things because the market has been pretty interesting today. There's been some pretty interesting headlines, and we'll go ahead and cover all of it. As always, I'll be tracking the Facebook chat on my phone, so if you have any questions or comments along the way, make sure you give us a shout out, and I'll try to cover whatever you guys bring up. Until then, we'll go ahead and dive right into this. First off, we have seen a sell-off pretty much across the entire market. The high for Bitcoin was around 5,900. Now we're down to 5,600. Along with that, Ethereum and Litecoin have been selling off pretty heavily today. Ethereum is down at 317, down almost 6.5%, and Litecoin just cracked the $60 mark, and we're at 59.80 right now, down about 8% today. And then Ripple had quite the run up the last couple of days. We are right in the middle of the swell convention by Ripple that is attended by Ben Bernanke and some other very notable figures. And people really were anticipating some big news coming out of it, but it just hasn't happened. They have been strictly talking business and talking the way forward, but they haven't come out with any huge announcements, nothing that would move the price of Ripple. So it is starting to sell off now, just because people are disappointed with the news that have come out of the convention. So there's some pretty big sell-offs there, and we'll go over the news here in just a moment. But we'll go ahead and talk about Stellar, right? Um, let's pull up. There you go, Stellar Lumens. Look at that jump right there. I actually haven't done the research to find out why, but it is. I just wanted to point that out to you guys. We'll go ahead and talk about why the sell-off in the top coins right there. First off, where'd my article go? All right, so yesterday we were hit by this news. Russia is launching its very own state-owned, state-controlled cryptocurrency, and it will be called the crypto ruble. Now they have a lot of big things planned for it, but I would argue that this is not really positive for the market at all, or for the crypto economy. The reason is they're going to tax it and regulate it very heavily. It's not going to be able to be mined. It's just going to be straight up issued by the government, and it's going to be taxed, and they're going to have absolute control over it. So I don't think this is a good thing at all. And as soon as this did happen, the market sold off, right? So here we are just trucking along, and then all of a sudden Russian news comes out, bam, it sells off. I can't, all right, I can't read that chart, but it sold off a couple $100, right? And then it settled, and we're um, pretty much still at about that same level. So I think the Russia news, the crypto ruble news, is still relevant, even a day or two later. However, we also got this news right here. South Korea prepares to tax Bitcoin use. So I'll just go ahead and read a quick blurb here for you. South Korea's lawmakers held a national tax service hearing in Sejong on October 13th. The NTS Commissioner Han Sung-hee answered questions about the taxation of cryptocurrencies, particularly about Bitcoin. He was asked, as the daily transaction value of virtual money grows beyond the KOSDAQ, we must actively cope with the shift away from conventional reservations. What is the taxation plan? And his response was, I am still taxing business income and I am discussing whether to tax the value added tax or capital gains tax with regard to virtual currencies such as Bitcoin. So what they're trying to do is address this once and for all. They don't want there to be any loopholes. They want people to pay taxes on the gains that they're realizing by trading cryptocurrencies. They're also, if you read down a little ways, I'm not going to read through the whole thing to try to find it, but they also talk about the gift tax. So they think that if they don't address the gift tax, then that'll be a loophole, and people will just, instead of spending cryptocurrency, quote unquote, they will just gift it, right? So that'll be a loophole to basically eliminate all transactions. Everything will just be a gift all of a sudden. So I think they're going to end up taxing that as well. But so there's two negative headlines. You know what article I did not bring up was China Bitcoin news. Let's see. All right, China can make Bitcoin buzz again. This is what I was talking about. Is this going to be our best article? Yeah, let's check that one out. So anyways, the skinny of this is that China can once again enter the headlines. Last time, this was not very good at all. And if it really gains much attention or much traction, then we'll probably see another sell-off. And we've already seen that begin. Litecoin just sold under 60. Ethereum, the recent high was about 348. Now we're down to 317. The Byzantium hard fork has gone live on the Ethereum mainnet. It was expected that there would be a sort of a euphoria surrounding this as long as it went smoothly, and it just so happens that that's not the case. Unfortunately, instead of appreciating, it has actually sold off. But let's go ahead and look at the price of Bitcoin. Ethereum. I talked about this probably a week ago, whenever the last live stream was, maybe less than that. But anyways, I had the same chart with the same lines drawn, and we are still basically trading in the exact same formation as we were before. We're in this ascending triangle, and we're still right in the middle of it. I was anticipating that as soon as the fork went live, everything went smooth. Like I said, there should be a run-up in price, and I was hoping that we would hit the upper limit of this triangle here, but it didn't happen. Instead, we saw this sell-off, and now we are approaching the 100-day moving average, as you can see it right there. The 100-day moving average currently stands at about 280, and we are at just shy of 320 now. So we're going to have to continue to follow this and see what happens. It's just all of a sudden the positive vibes are gone, and now the market's selling off. We have gained some. All right, so Litecoin is right back up to $60. Ethereum seems to have leveled off as well, and Bitcoin is back above 5,600. So it looks like we finally found some support. This may not turn into a massive sell-off like I thought it might, but like I said, there's 1, 2, 3 negative headlines. China, Russia, South Korea, all in the headlines in a negative light, and I don't foresee that being good for the markets in the near term. However, let's turn to this article right here. I would say this is a positive headline. It says Hong Kong Bitcoin Exchange (OKEX) to open SegWit2x futures market. So that is pretty interesting. There's been a lot of hubbub around the SegWit2x fork, whether or not it'll be a good thing, whether or not SegWit2x is going to be the supreme Bitcoin, whether it's going to be like the legacy Bitcoin, or if it's going to be completely overshadowed by what is currently legacy Bitcoin. And as of now, we don't know, but there has been less and less support for SegWit2x as we close in on that. Let me see if I can pull up another article on that. All right, here we go. SegWit2x bleeds support as the community has second thoughts. Basically, this is just talking about how one entity in particular, forget the name of it. All right, Sure Bitcoin. They withdrew their support for for Bitcoin 2x. And they're not the first and they're not the last. People keep withdrawing their support for it. They just think that it's not going to live up to the hype and may not even be necessary. And it just seems ridiculous to continually fork Bitcoin. Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin Gold, Bitcoin 2x. Like, how many times do we have to fork Bitcoin before we figure it out and get all this stuff straight, right? So, anyways, here's a quote from the Bitcoin core developer. His name is BTC Direct. He said, "I'm utterly appalled by this proposal, both technically, ethically, and by the process by which it is adopted. Hard forks require consensus from the entire ecosystem in order to prevent a fork, funds loss, confusion, and harm to the robust guarantees of the Bitcoin system, as thus has been displayed." So he's not happy with it at all, and it just seems like the closer we get to this hard fork, the more negativity is surrounding it. So let's go ahead and add that to our negative headlines. Now we're at 4. This is all recent news. This is from October the 10th at cryptoanswers.net. So anyways, I don't know. This could be the beginning of the sell-off. It hasn't continued since we started this live stream, but I'm just going to go ahead and throw this out there. I sold everything that I owned. All my Bitcoin, all my Ethereum, all my Litecoin. I sold it a day ago, maybe 2 days. There's just too much uncertainty right now. I feel like it's now risk on, and I just don't see Bitcoin, especially Bitcoin, going up much further than 6,000. And Ethereum, I don't know what to expect. I was incredibly bullish on it before because of this formation here. I expected maybe one more bounce from this upper echelon here, and then we should break through and continue up to 420, 430. That's what I was anticipating. But now I just don't know. There's too much negative news, and I have adopted more of a cautious sentiment with my own investments. So you guys can just take that as you will and do what you want. But here we go, back up again, now up to 60.30 for Litecoin, almost 320 for Ethereum. So who knows? Could be a small upward correction before we go back down. Too early to say as of now. Like I said, I don't think there's just a whole lot of near-term gains to be had, and uncertainty is increasing. So that's my current position. All right, Brock Chain, he's been a pretty consistent viewer. He's checking in, says hello. Welcome to the stream, Brock. Good to have you with us. And Brian Tan, yes, I am back. Looks like you are too. Welcome to the stream, buddy. Good to have you with us. Let's see what else we have here for comments. At some point later, could you comment on ways to purchase currency such as Ripple or 10x? Good question. So obviously you're not going to be able to use Coinbase for that. If you want to buy your currency initially through Coinbase, transfer it over to Bittrex is my favorite. Just being a United States citizen, if you're a U.S. citizen yourself, your options are limited as far as what exchanges you can use. Unfortunately, Bittrex, I think, is the best option for U.S. citizens. If you're not a U.S. citizen, I highly recommend Bitfinex. I can't use this, unfortunately. They just recently stopped allowing access for U.S. citizens. I don't want to go ahead and log in because I don't want to show my username and password and all that stuff. How can I talk about this without? Let's just pull up a chart or something. I'm trying to find the news. Last time I logged in, announcements. There we go. All right, U.S. individual users. This message is further to our announcement on August 11th with respect to terminating our business with U.S. individual customers. As indicated in the announcement, we are terminating trading deposits and withdrawal functionality for U.S. individual customers no later than November the 9th. So if you're listening to the stream and you have money in Bitfinex that you haven't visited in a while, you want to make sure that you have withdrawn it by November the 9th. Otherwise, you won't be able to. It's going to be completely shut off to U.S. citizens starting November the 9th. So I decided to just not even use it because why go through that motion when actually you can't deposit anything now anyway. So I didn't even have the option. But that sucks because Bitfinex is a solid platform. I've done enough research and I've used it quite a bit. I like their chart system. Like you can use a whole bunch of tools and stuff to look at the technical analysis part of it within their site, and I really appreciate that. The fees are pretty good. They're better than Coinbase, certainly. I forget exactly what they are, but if you're not a U.S. citizen, I recommend Bitfinex, hands down. If you are a U.S. citizen, Bittrex is going to be your best option. Let's see if we can look at the currency. No. Well, I don't want to log in here on the live stream, otherwise I'd show you. There's there's three main marketplaces on Bittrex. You can either use Bitcoin, Ethereum, or Tether, and buy any currency. You can buy 10x with it, and you can buy Ripple with it. And there are hundreds of other currencies to choose from on Bittrex. However, you can't use your cash. You can't transfer your cash directly from Coinbase or whatever to Bittrex or directly from your bank accounts. You have to transfer either Bitcoin or Ethereum to get started. So you're still going to have to start at Coinbase or one of those other centralized exchanges, unfortunately. Otherwise, I do believe that you can transfer your actual currency, or fiat currency, directly to Bitfinex if you're a non-U.S. citizen. So you might look at one of those, depending on what your citizenship is. Hope that answered your question. Next question. Will the fork benefit coins like Vertcoin? I think this is a really good coin, good profit over the last days. All right, so this is Hey Joe Hendricks. I hope I pronounced your name correctly. That's the gentleman that just introduced that question. And you know what? I don't have the chart up anymore. I actually, on our last live stream, I looked at Vertcoin, and I thought it looked pretty enticing. There was no real overarching macro trend, but the micro trend I identified was basically, what was it called? A descending, wow, I can't think right now. Basically, it was a formation where the currency had been selling off over the past week or so, but it looked like we were about to see an uptick, and we did. Let me see if I can pull up a chart on. Oh, you know what? That may have been Verge. I forget. Yeah, I think that was Verge and not Vertcoin. I apologize. However, wow, yeah, that's looking pretty healthy over the recent past there. Wow, it's up from 44 cents to 160. That is impressive. Interesting. Um, Shoot, it's almost 1 o'clock. I've got to get to work here pretty soon, so I'm gonna have to wrap this up. I apologize, Hendricks. I'll do another live stream later, but for now, I don't have time to get into this in depth. I wanted to make sure I covered that news, the recent price action, and what is driving it. I think it's all these negative headlines that are really causing some of the uncertainty in the market. Risk is elevated, reward is a little bit suppressed, and that's why the price action has not been as positive as we're used to. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I'm sorry I didn't get to everyone's question, at least as in-depth as I would like to. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. Try to come to you live maybe tomorrow. I'll have more time in the morning before work. We'll just have to see what happens. But like I said, thanks for tuning in. We're going to continue to follow the stories and these developments, and make sure you stay tuned in with CryptoAnswers.net. Have a good day, everyone. Peace.